everybody that's tuned in right now that the Creative Collective podcast is sponsored each and every week by Travi. And just remember, Travi is the #1 ride-share app in Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, with Travi is the only ride-share app in TNT that rewards you. Earn free credit when you refer rides or refer friends using our personal referral code, right? So if you have a personal referral code, you can refer your friends and you can earn credit, right? Also, you can earn points on each of your trips to get cash back. And we need you right now to visit travirides.com/rewards. That's travirides.com/rewards to learn more information. Make your life easier with Travi. We also want to say thank you going out to Control Entertainment, always in control. Control Entertainment is a dynamic company that caters to all your event needs. Follow them now at control_entertainment. And that's control with a K_entertainment on Instagram. We are broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, right all over. And right now, if it is that you're looking at this channel for the first time, we need you to subscribe to our page. Subscribe to the Creative Collective Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure and subscribe now. Follow us on Facebook as well at the Creative Collective Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at the Creative Collective Podcast. And we are also on Twitch. So shout out to everybody that's joining us on Twitch tonight as well. Make sure and follow us across all those platforms. And we want to say good night as well to our streaming partners at GMGT.LIVE, good music, good times in New York City. GMGT, where the culture lives. Thank you for GMGT for continuing to host us each and every week. Also, for the people that may be following us on TikTok, thank you for all the comments on the TikTok page that we have. And we are inviting you guys to please follow our TikTok page at TKK Podcast. That's TKK Podcast. The Creative Collective Podcast is on TikTok as well. All right. So tonight, I have to say, I'm really, really happy to have my guest in the show tonight. And I'll tell you something. My guest is on his way right now to get a flight to Trinidad and Tobago. So we have very limited time of a guests who are going to get into shortly because we're waiting for him just to connect and come into the room. I have to say also, shout out to everybody in St Vincent and the Grenadines. I always tell people that Vinci is like my second home. And this is a really, really good moment for me right now to be able to display the culture and the country of itself. And I'm looking forward not just of having my guest tonight from St. Vincent, but to have many other talents from St. Vincent. I've been talking to people for years about St. Vincent and the Grenadines and why I have so much of a love for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So tonight we hope to start something with the podcast, with my guest, and I'm hoping that we can have more artists and acts from Vinci on this show in the coming future. I know plenty of them, so I'm going to reach out to you guys very, very soon because, as they know, I rep for the culture, and it's very, very good that we can have this discussion tonight. All right. So, as I said, my guest is getting ready. He has to hit a flight very shortly. Usually during the show, we take some questions from individuals, but tonight we may just be able to get to your comments alone. So if it is that just comments we're going to get to tonight, we're going to try to bring up the comments during the live. So while you're here, you're going to see your comments popping up at the bottom of the screen. If we can't get to some questions, we'll do that. But I really don't want my guests to miss his flight. So let me take one quick Travi pickup, because as I said before in the beginning, we are sponsored by Travi, the #1 ride-share app in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going to come back with Skinny Fabulous right after this. All right, so this is the Creative Collective Podcast. Skinny Fabulous is inside tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so no time to waste tonight because we have a lot to talk about. And I am joined on your screen by the 6-time St. Vincent and the Grenadines Soca Monarch winner and one of the most identifiable personalities in the Caribbean to date. He has not just captured audiences with his hit songs such as Behaving the Worst, Blinking Bad, and his Monster Collab family, just to name a few. But he has also written songs for the major players in the soca world. He usually says that he is 135 pounds, but it's safe to say that he is considered a heavyweight in the soca industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gamal Doyle, aka Skinny Fabulous. Skinny, welcome to the program today, my brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. A nice little setup in GMGT.
Yeah, once you come on this podcast, you go and get a nice setup. Once you come here, you go and get. Now, I want to let everybody know. What I want to let everybody know that we have Skinny for a limited time today, because Skinny actually is catching a flight to come and meet us here in Trinidad and Tobago. So the conversation might be a little bit condensed. But at the same point in time, we've been talking about this for weeks. I know you're busy, your schedule has been crazy. I actually want to start there. I mean, you've been to Dubai in the last couple of days. You just did a show in New York City last night. You're heading to Trinidad, as I said, for a couple of days here. How does it feel to be still having your nostrils abused before you go into different countries? Is it something you're getting accustomed to or not?
You don't get accustomed to it, bro. And I mean, because it's so inconsistent the way these tests are done by different nurses. Is that one time somebody just barely make a little swab, and then another time it's brain surgery and back of your head you're feeling big swab, you know? So it doesn't get any better at all, and it's pretty annoying. So traveling has become a hassle.
Right.
But getting to the destination is the hassle, but the traveling itself is not my issue, you know. Like the idea of being all over the place is works for me. Yeah. It's actually become a part of, I feel like the minute I'm grounded for too long. Like I was really miserable during the first parts of the pandemic, simply because I wasn't able to do my usual travel around. And when you're traveling around, you're complaining. I was complaining like, damn.
That's funny. Like we'll be in airports. It's like, dog, we had to wait till our next flight. Yeah, this. But then for that period of time when you're not anywhere, it's like, yo, I can't go a place right now.
Boy, I miss delayed flights. I miss sitting down in the waiting for flights with the pandemic, you know. But I give thanks to the blessing of having opportunities to still be amongst some of the artists that are consistently booked throughout the world during and then the later half of the pandemic, and now as we see the outside world, we outside already. Yeah. So I'm just happy to be a part of a collective of creatives that still get to enjoy doing what we want to do and what we love to do.
You know, it's so funny you say that. Do you find it odd now, as somebody who is outside a lot, coming back to the Caribbean and seeing how the protocols and restrictions still have us kind of like in, not necessarily lockdown, but at the same point in time, we're definitely not outside to the fullest. Is that strange to you? Or?
You know what it is? Because I am so much in and out of it, it's like a whiplash. So I came to Trinidad and I went by Golden Bell because I wanted the ramen. I wanted that spicy beef ramen.
Right? Welcome to Skinny. You must have the ramen, dog. You must have the ramen.
Right? So I went to Golden Bell, but I so programmed. I had just come from Miami, but I so programmed in the Miami ways that I waltz up in Golden Bell, but I had called ahead for my order. Waltz up in there. Right. I don't see my ramen over there in that back. I come to the woman tell me, but so you don't have on a mask? I said, ooh, I forget about that. And I'm like, okay, but sorry, next time I'll know. Just give me the bag, hell up the money, keep the change. The young lady refused to take the money and the change and did not give me my ramen.
Because I don't know, man.
I had to go by Burger King. I didn't get on there. I had to go by the pharmacy. The pharmacy didn't want me US. I had to go by Massey Beggar Security to buy a mask for me. It was drama. Just to get. So I understand that it's not a lockdown, but if you're accustomed to a certain type of freedom outside, then it feels very restrictive. And I hope that in the near future, we get to a place where we kind of understand that if we were to deal with the common cold, which is also a virus, in this type of way, will always be this way. We have to, at some point in time, work on our immune system and realize that we just had to work through this thing. No amount of real. Anyways, I don't want to get into that because it might sound.
But as you notice, and as plenty of people notice right now, the UK, Well, Boris said that is it. Boris said that is it. We open. We ain't bother with no protocol again. If you're vaccinated, come off it. If you ain't unvaccinated, still come off it. He ain't really business. He really business. But I mean, as I said that, there's actually something I saw last week just to get your take on it. And this is a video of you guys actually performing at the SVG National Day in Dubai, the expo. Right. Tell me about that experience. I mean, as somebody who goes into these kind of environments with people who may not be as accustomed to soca as we are, is it something that you still get nervous about even as a seasoned artist going into crowds like this? Or is it something that you look at as a challenge that you're able to take up and just run with the mantle for it?
You know, I want to be honest here that like this is the first time I'm actually seeing this playback of this performance. Right. So I was actually kind of watching it and see what happened in here.
Yeah, but let me take care of this song.
Hi. You did. Right. So, to answer your question, you know, after you're doing something for so long, man, it's almost so second nature to me that it does not matter what type of crowd, what size crowd. It all feels the same kind of jitters that I would have performing at a bar in San Fernando. It's the same jitters I have in front of all these British, Emirates or Indians or Saudis or whatever. It's the same level of jitters, but it's a jitter that does not obstruct or restrain or hamper. In fact, that jitter is actually a constructive jitter to me. If I don't have that jitter, it's because I'm bored and I don't want to be there. Or I don't feel it's important. But as long as I feel it's an important show, and I feel like all shows are important, I always have that little, okay, Skin, boom, let's do this. Bam, bam. I still need to shrug my shoulder and go and do what I need to do. But I don't differentiate between the sizes of the shows anymore. I've been too seasoned to even study that.
Yeah, and it's funny enough because, I mean, I was looking at a conversation that you had with our dear friend Kara, so big up Kara Denell, in our research for this conversation. And Kara was saying at that point in time in the conversation that you are a really confident guy in your abilities. And I look at, for you to be able to perform in any environment, even if you're seasoned and you be comfortable but also have the jitters, it still takes a particular level of confidence to perform for somebody that might not know English, and you still have to command the audience like that, or somebody in an area where it's not predominantly a soca environment, but at the same point in time you want to go and deliver, because even in looking at the performance, your diction is a little bit different, the way you'd say things is a little bit different, because you know you're not in front of the normal Caribbean people that you'd be in front of. Where do you think that confidence in total comes from? I mean, is it something that you would say was grounded in your upbringing as an individual?
No,
where do you see that confidence coming from?
That's the way this part, Murray. That's the way this part. I didn't grow up being confident. I didn't grow up being the star child of my household. I was the only child, so I had all the attention. But in school, my earlier school days, I was not that guy. I was that guy, that little skinny guy who, you know, other people kind of
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I think you picked on them kind of things. I never go through the early part of my childhood being confident or feeling confident or in anything, in my personality, in my physical appearance, any of that, until music.
Right.
Music is what gave my personality confidence. Through music, I was able to develop a sense of self and a sense of worth that eventually became a sincere and legitimate part of my psyche. You know, I don't have to put it on anymore. It is there. But I know the root of that confidence came from music. The love I got from music and the love I gave to music, it ended up just building a type of confidence. So like when I'm on that stage in Dubai, and here's something I want to share with even upcoming artists too. Confidence and charisma and comfort on stage Doesn't matter what language, what genre, it translates to a crowd. If
Facts.
you're up there and you shaky within your own head, trust me, they sense that shakiness. You go up there confident. They never hear a word of anything that you said, or they've never heard a song from you. But you're so confident and collected in how you deliver what you're doing. They feel it. Crowds just feel it. When you're being affected by the music that's happening behind you and you pay attention to the mess-ups behind there, if you notice, a crowd would feel that you're frustrated and they will absorb that energy, and all of a sudden the whole energy in the crowd will drop.
Correct.
So you have to always manage your energy to manage their energy, you know?
Correct. Yeah. It's so strange that you say that when you was in school, you wasn't really that confident guy. No, one of the things about this podcast is that we like to do our research, right? Funny enough, if you go on YouTube and you type in Skinny Fabulous interviews, there are 5 interviews that comes to the top of it. One of which is from 20-something odd years ago. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yes, when but you see, I had already discovered music. The one when she asked, when she said, all the best to you, and I said, all the best to me too, or something. I can't remember.
Well, I mean, no, I have it queued up here though. We can get it if you, all right, quickly, let me get it. So this is Gamal Doyle, 20 years ago, 20-something odd years ago, right?
Good evening and welcome to Expose. This evening we'll be chatting with Gamal Doyle, also known as Skinny Fabulous. Good evening, Gamal, and welcome to Expose.
Okay, greetings to you, Malika, and greetings to St Vincent and the Grenadines.
Oh God, don't do
Where
that.
did you get the name Skinny Fabulous?
Well, if you look carefully, I can say that's self-explanatory. The skinny part, of course. Yes, I'm very skinny. The fabulous cannot be seen visually at first glance, but then once you get to know me, I can say that I'm fabulous. Now, in terms of plans, I'm trying to do some marketing outside of St. Vincent, and hopefully that will come true, and it's beginning to show some light.
Thank you, Mr. Fabulous, for being a part of our show, and I want to wish you all the best in your musical career.
Okay.
Here's the funny thing about that video, eh? This is the funny thing about that video. First of all, I know Malika, so shout out to Malika after all these years. So big up Malika one time. That is number one. Yeah. 2, it was the way that you delivered, how it is you came up with the name Skinny Fabulous. As you rightfully say, you know the skinny, as you can see, you're skinny, but at the same point in time, the fabulous cannot be seen or heard or something like that. So for you to say that point in time, for you to say that point in time, yeah, I still wasn't this confident guy. And we looking at that video, it kind of hard to believe that a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I know. But you see, I was saying, like, I had already discovered music by the time that interview was happening.
Right.
You understand? Prior to that, some years before that, you couldn't get me in front of a camera. You couldn't get me to speak like that because it just would not have been me. She is talking to me now because of music. I know this, so I know I have a limelight, and I know that I need to prescribe the behavior that I need to become.
Yeah.
And so I became that.
Yeah. I get that. You know, and it's funny you say that because as an artist, within that same interview, you have spoken about the struggles that you had in the early part of your career, starting to develop at that time as you want to be a dancehall artist, right? Obviously, you as an individual, you appreciate all genres of music, and you are not a dancehall singer, or so you are artist. That's why I look at it. But do you think that some of the struggles that you had in the early parts of that career are some of the things right now that help you keep that grounding right now in all the challenges that you may have even now?
The dancehall background?
Well, just the background in music in total, but at the same point in time, as I said, at that point there were struggles that you had as a dancehall artist. I'm quite certain, even coming up as an artist from St Vincent and the Grenadines, there will be struggles as an artist as well too. Do you think those struggles have helped you now to be more grounded in, I guess, the challenges that you may be facing in a much more advanced stage of your career?
Yes, I would definitely think so, because you know, I got a type of rejection from dancehall. I want to say from dancehall, not the industry, but a type of, not self-rejection, but a coming to grips with what it means for a young guy from St Vincent and the Grenadines going into Jamaica trying to be the next bounty killer. Like I followed that dream until the dream itself had to clash with what is realistic of your geographic background, your cultural background. It is you asking a whole audience, a whole country to accept something that they know is not legitimately yours. And I went to Jamaica. I worked with Kid Pridge, the Seeker, General Degree, Ritty, Beanie Man. I met all the persons that I needed to meet. And it was like, yeah, you're bad. Boy, yeah, boy, you're bad. But it's still a bad in a, it was a novelty. Right. It's just like when Beanie Man came to soca and he's saying, Carnival is pumping. We just we rate the song, but we don't know say Beanie Man is a soca artist.
Right.
Beanie Man is just a man who sing a soca song. So that's
correct.
And so what the lesson I learned from that is, man, sometimes you can chase something and you owe it to yourself to chase it to the very end.
Yeah.
You owe it to yourself to chase it to the very end, but you have to know when to not throw in the towel, but to modify your dream.
Right.
And be adaptive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so even in my struggles now, for many times I did competition and didn't win and whatever. I done by then accustomed to getting the no and realizing, okay, this is not the route, or it might happen now, it might happen next year. You know what I mean? So even for young and upcoming men, all them knows and declines and things, they will end up being a part of your story and a part of what makes you you.
It's so funny you say that too, because like you again, as I started off saying, 6-time Soca Monarch winner, and one of the most notable individuals from St Vincent. But I know what it is, right? I'm Trinidad and Tobagonian, and I know that there are a lot of artists who mash up in the country. And when they come to Trinidad for Soca Monarch or they come to perform, they really get the kind of love that they would have gotten back home. And I know a shout out to all the guys like Hyper 4000, Hans, and these guys who are Soca Monarch winners in their own right. And they come to Trinidad wanting to not just represent themselves, but represent St. Vincent, feeling that they'll get a fair hearing. But at the same point in time, it's challenging to break into that market. And one of the things I was really trying to do with this show is try to give people that encouragement. You of yourself, did you go through that entire process? And what do you think was the one thing that you did to help you get past that challenge of having to break into new markets later?
I would say lucky for me, I'm just a nice guy, Shamari. You know, when you're a nice guy, people tend to like you.
It works out,
yeah. And you know, but I think because it's so much things and factors that need to stitch together to make the success out of an artist. And it's really and truly talent is the most important thing, yes, but it is not the only thing that will guide you through the process of breaking into any market. Correct. Because you need a good team around you. You need to be open to networking. And I mean, for me, I know I was as good as my team, but I also knew that every time I was given a microphone, I made the best of it. Yeah. Whether it was actually through stage or just being in an interview, I made sure to embrace the culture of, let's say, Trinidad and Tobago, and just be of it. I never stopped to try to behave like an outsider inside Trinidad. I took the time, and you know, because when I first started to come to Trinidad, I came just as I wanted to go into the feds in the crowd and watch the performances. Although I was going to go on stage maybe in 15 minutes, but if I wanted to go and be of that, to feel it, to be a part of it, to understand it, you know. And again, like I said before, your confidence and your comfort on a platform or a stage is contagious. When people know you're comfortable and you feel like you're there, they will accept you, because there's no tension between how you're selling yourself. So I just feel like that has always been the key for me to break into a lot of these markets. Sometimes I feel like a Bajan. My management's a different Barbados, and I feel like Bajan people just love me like I'm a Bajan too.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And clearly, you know, Trini is my place. Me and Rolly tight like this.
yeah. It come like me. I tell people and we'll segue to that quickly. I tell people that I get a lot of love in places, but something about St Vincent is a different type of love. And you know this. There are people in St Vincent that feel I am part Vincentian, you know, so because of the kind of love that I've gotten from St Vincent. And that takes me to a good segue to this. For individuals that don't know, because I always tell people St. Vincent is probably one of the most underrated islands within the Caribbean, right? And I've been saying that for years.
Right.
Tell people what about St. Vincent that makes it so uniquely different from all the other Caribbean islands.
Well, you know, here's what. I mean, each island would tell you, well, no, we're the best, with this, with that. But I'm going to give fair jackets to fair jacks. Now, I would never, there's certain aspects of soca and cultural festivities that I will not say give an umbrella best to say St. Vincent is the best of all things. Right. But what we are uniquely the maddest about is that we party on a different type of level.
Correct.
And riotous energy than any other country in the world. I love
that term. Riotous. Let me write that down. Riotous. Hold on there. Riotous energy. I go and put that on my next mix. Yeah. Riotous energy. I love it. I love it.
I'm telling you, because it's something that happens to Vincentian men in particular. And because we grow up seeing this type of behavior as normal. We grow up having carnivals in villages with big trucks going uphill. And we're not a savannah with nice grass and things.
Yeah.
And we passing we might pass a graveyard, we might pass a banana field.
Or like to say, you go down a gap, you go down a side gap, yeah.
Boom. Now what happens when you go down these gaps and up these hills? You would want to run into a banana field. You might want to pick a bunch of banana. You might want to pick an orange tree. You might want to pick up somebody dashing. And what happens is that we have an energy where it became cool for Vincentians to be wild, creatively wild, but it's the most loving wild that you'll ever meet, because you will go into that crowd and it looks scary, and the minute you're in it, you feel like you're a part of a family of just wildness. Yeah. And a man will push you, but still make sure you don't fall down at the same time.
Yes.
Into that. And trust me when I tell you, that energy cannot be replicated or will not be found anywhere else. But they just come a little close because they have the little pigs and the crabs and the frogs in our bucket when they're doing the thing. But that is a different aspect of it. We're talking about just regular party in a crowd. Vincentians party on a whole nother level. Point blank.
No, you're right.
Show, we just take off the clothes and go home left with shoes and just pelt off with it. That's we like that. It's what makes us proud to be Vincentians. If you never come Vincy and you want to see creative but peaceful riots.
Peaceful riots. Creative riotousness. And that everything that you just said embodies how I feel about St. Vincent from coming to St. Vincent from the first year since 2013 and not really understanding how to make it in words, but you just said it yourself in that. In that same regard, some people look at you right now as like St. Vincent's most popular ambassador in that regard. Do you look at yourself like that? Do you look at yourself as like Vincey's most popular ambassador?
No. And that is a slope that I know it's easy for persons to maybe say that or maybe ask if I think that. But the truth of the matter is I am a part of a cultural machinery that existed before me. So before me, you had the likes of a Poser,
right?
Harry Bank, you had Beckett, Alston Beckett, Cyrus, Teaser, you had Winston. So I don't mind if you want to give me out if you say it. James E.P., who made his hit on the scene before me. I look it up, no kid.
Correct.
No kid. You had Kevin Little, turn me on. So like it have a whole several generations of people who championed the cause before me. So I wouldn't want to say that I am that now. And then in these current times, you still have the likes of a Problem Child, and Problem Child is amazing work on writing, on performing, on carrying the brand too. And then you have Hyper 4000. You have a lot of upcoming Vincents and artists who just there and they just didn't get the shine as yet. So I am fortunate, how I will describe it, I am fortunate now to be able to have the shine. I am one of the artists that gets some of the most shine, but I don't want to consider myself the shine. I'm not the shine. I just get a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I share that spotlight with all other artists.
And I actually love that about your island in terms of when artists, whether it be Problem Child, Hans, Luther, any one of them, when they go on a stage, the first thing they would say is that I am XYZ from St Vincent and the Grenadines. As you rightfully say, it's like one person looks at themselves as the full representative, but each of you all are part of an ecosystem that come together to actually not just promote the music, but promote the island and be ambassadors to the island as one. And that's something significant that I think a lot of people really do appreciate about that. Even that performance I showed before, that Vinci Mars performance or that St Vincent Day performance from Dubai, it was you and a team of artists that were going out there representing St Vincent and the Grenadines to the world, and that's an important thing. Do you think that is something that you would like to probably see other countries adopt? Because here in Trinidad, listen, I don't know about you, but one man going there, one man going there. It's an old team of fellas going out there as one unit. You say they went there as one unit representing this island. Yeah, I have not seen. I think St. Lucia is probably the only other place I may have seen that. But I don't know if there's something that could be in, you know.
But maybe too, Shamari, maybe you might think, surprisingly, that is as a result of maybe the artist mentality or lack of unified mentality.
Right.
And in a case like this, it actually may not. It actually might be a case where there aren't many opportunities for them to do that. Right. On a unified front. But I have seen, if I'm going to be fair, I am seeing now a culture of artists being friends and understanding that we as an industry hold the power to control our own promotional destiny and how we do things. So the likes of a Lyrical holding a show, but having his peers on it, not just as like just little run-ons, but really feel that type of, I am doing this for my friend Lyrical, I'm doing this for my friend Nadia, I'm doing it for my friend Boys. I am slowly seeing a sense of unity, but I get what you're saying, because it's still not under the umbrella of promoting maybe Trinidad, but it's on the umbrella of supporting each other as friends. But that is still the foundation that is required for them to be able to support each other on a national level. I just don't think that maybe there's that opportunity for them to do that. But I think I have no doubt that a lot of the artists that I've met from Trinidad, they will be full game for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, Skinny has to catch a flight just now, so we're going to keep him for 10 more minutes and then send him on his way. I know we usually get into questions during the live, but as you see the comments coming up, we'll have the comments during the night, but I don't want to keep Skinny from coming into Trinidad and Tobago.
We'll take one or two.
Yeah, one or two. We were talking about, that kind of unity that you see with artists, and I always give full kudos, or we like to say in Trinidad, I like to give flowers to artists like Hans, Problem Child, Hyper, and the rest of these guys that are now being able to build that machinery for themselves. And it's talents that people in other parts of the region may not have heard, but when you hear the talent, it's identifiable. I always tell people I love Hans in terms of some of the music he puts together. As I say, Problem Child, one of the best writers you can get on any song. Is it important for you right now to be part of, I guess, mentorship to the future artists who still looking for that way to get in? What have you been doing to do that, to have that part of that weight, if you want to put it like that, in terms of mentoring young artists?
I would love it. I would love to be that.
Yeah.
Right? But I'll tell you this. Maybe I might get in trouble, but this is how it goes.
We like to be real here, man. So you can be real.
I'll be real. We have, and maybe this exists in the different countries and the different genres and things, but we have a generation of artists that is coming up that is also so consumed with their own egos that the simple step of saying to another artist who has done it or who is doing it, the simple step of saying, hey, help me, or hey, I see what you're doing, I would love to be on that path, what are some of the things that you'd recommend? And I often wonder, like, why some of these artists don't do that more, or even worse, why sometimes when there are opportunities where I want to do that and I extend a branch that you can say, listen, if you're serious, call me, let me set up some studio time and let's go and work. And bro, I would be like, yeah, what are you doing this Sunday? Let's go studio, let's see what you have, let me try to, you know, put together something, and let me put together a EPK package and let me get it done. Yeah, man. Let's say, yeah, Sunday, 4 o'clock, is it right? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. And I mean, so it's like sometimes is you want to be that to other upcoming artists, but some of them just they don't want it.
I laughing because they say, hey, let me put together EPK. I tell real fellas out there that don't even know what EPK is. Like, I have a EPK, and I remember sitting there and telling a guy, yo, I go and send him my press kit. And it's like, what? I was like, you got that? It's like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, as a DJ trying to market yourself, so not everybody will know that your big song is, or you played here, but people have to have a point of reference. And I think it's important to know that a lot of artists look at the business side of the music in addition to the music itself, and that's something that I guess you're speaking to, correct?
Yeah. I mean, here's an example, and not to segue from the business angle that you just brought, but like I was talking to an artist, and I ended up telling him, you know, one of my bigger songs, it was actually not written by me, right? Which is a song called Watch Thing. One of my favorite songs. I love Watch Thing.
Watch Thing was not written by you. Whoa. No, that is a surprise to me here. I didn't know that. And that is my hands down favorite tune. As you realize in the intro. That's my favorite tune. So yeah.
Bam. See. So the point I was making to him, we're having a conversation about, okay, you have a good song here. But maybe you could get somebody else to help you with the verses. The hook is good, but there's no continuity with the vibe. So let's try to get somebody else to help with the verses. You know, okay, you have this one who really good at this, and you have another partner there who really good. Maybe y'all could work this one song together, and you could help he with his hook, and all they work it out. Nah, boy, Skinny, we don't really want no man write for me and thing, you know. No. I have to write my own thing then, bro. I have to write my own thing. And then I told him, I said, bro, I have already proven myself as a good writer, you know, right? Correct. I don't have that to prove again. Understand that some of my favorite work, I actually accepted it from other artists. Yeah. Wetty Beats is who write Watch Thing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And when Wetty Beats presented it to me, I had zero ego. As I don't like it, it sounds good, it could work. That is the end of it. The product is what takes priority, not your ego or what people will say about the biggest soca artist in the world, the king of soca. Hands down, he understands what it means to get creative elements from writers.
Correct.
You're not there to boost your ego. You're there to put out the best product possible for the people's enjoyment. That is it. As I'm saying, sometimes the ego of an artist prevents their own progress.
Yeah. I can agree that. And one thing I'd say about you, knowing you all these years I do, is that I only recently realized that so many things that people that are real interested in, like football and basketball and them things don't bother you, right? So I realized that Skinny is not the guy to be sitting down and talking about the Barca game or the Man U game or what going on in the NBA and that kind of thing. So you're not that guy.
I know I have friends who be going crazy over Arsenal and Barca and Man U. And I don't even know these teams' colors. I do not know. I know one is blue, one must be white, or whatever. And I know the two men in football. A man named Messi. A short man, and another one named Ronaldo. That's it.
Right.
That's it. And in basketball, I know about Kobe, I know about Curry, I know about James.
LeBron James, right. And Michael Jordan. So that's what you need to do.
But I'm not into games. I don't know about Halo. I don't even need for speed. I'm not into those things.
But he has a talent that you do have, which I feel a lot of people don't really understand. When you do attach yourself to something, you immerse yourself in it to be able to understand it to a particular level. So Skinny Fabulous is an artist, yes, but Skinny Fabulous also is the co-owner of a band, Oxygen Mass in St Vincent. And where some people might be like, well, Skinny is just the face of the band. I know that multiple times I've seen you in the band camp with Karen and others handing out costumes and going through that whole process of that. Do you think that for you, you look at that as part of a talent that you have, being able to immerse yourself so deeply into projects that you have, that you want to actually know that if tomorrow, let me just say tomorrow, Oxygen, Karen's like, yo, Skinny, I can't make it today. You could now put together the band for yourself. Do you think that that's a talent that you have?
Bro, is a talent and a curse at the same time. I'll tell you that.
He says a curse.
No, because I cannot be the face of it. Either doing something or not doing it. I've never been in a business situation where I'm just the cosmetic side of it. Never.
Yeah.
So in the case of our Oxygen thing, it was a legitimate split effort situation, right? It was not face thing. And why I say that blessing and a curse, because even in anything I do, I get so, as you said, immersed in the situation. That I tend to micromanage it. I want to be a part of every detail. So in the likes of Oxygen, I could tell you what the food was. I could tell you who was the caterer. I could tell you how much per head. I could tell you what type of feather, if it's cooked, if it's pheasant, if it's ostrich. I could tell you the different dyes of the color. I could tell you the beads. I could tell you who's the supplier. I could tell you which part of China it come from, because I want to know every single detail and be able to deconstruct that costume from what I see on the road to the bags of gems and things that came on boxes from China. I want to be able to do that. And so that applies in everything. That is why at this point in time, I ended up doing events, because I can't be coming to an event for a promoter and doing this and not understand the back end of it. So I then became a promoter in Wrightstown, doing my own events all over the place. You know, and I like to go to bars and I like to have good drinks. And so I then wanted to be a part of that. So now I open in a bar in St Vincent, but I want to be in it. And I don't want, and my problem would be that I would end up wanting to be a part of managing, and I can't do that. So that's why I say it is the talent, is the blessing, it is the curse. I don't know how to step away.
Out of all these things right now, if you were to say, okay, tomorrow I go and hang up the artist hat, which I know you're not going to do at all. But let me say tomorrow is go and say, yo, I feel like go and take a break from music, however. Is there one of those things that you think you would immerse yourself the most into over a particular period of time that you really want to see flourish, like in a greater sense?
No. If I hang up music, is because I'll add something else to the already existing things that I have.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that I now say I'm going to focus on just all of the energy on this. So if it's retail and doing the whole amusement park attractions, which I do, or if it's the kids store, or if it's the bar, or if it's the event, I'll just add something else to replace music and just give it all, because I'm too jittery, I'm too restless. I like to have my hands in things.
Yeah, I got you. Two quick questions before we go. As I said, people, Skinny had to leave like now, and I'm real thankful that you still made the time this evening. I asked Ricardo Drew something at the beginning of this season. Drew and I was talking about being a parent, and more importantly, being a girl dad. right? And I know you agree with that as well too. And I've seen in multiple conversations where you said that, you know, you always ensure that even in traveling, it might be challenging, but at the same point in time, you want to make sure that you still keep the presence, even with all the touring and everything that you were doing and whatnot. Is there anything about the parenting experience that you think you learned during that pandemic period of time that you probably knew kind of before the pandemic, but now that you was on lockdown and you ain't going nowhere, you can say, hey, you see this year here, I learned this from being at that point in time.
Well, I'll tell you this, but well, I'm also a boy dad too.
Correct, yes.
There's a big difference between boy and nobody. Boy, it's a difference that you wouldn't. Nobody can describe it to you until you have a boy and a girl, and you realize
Facts.
Two different things.
Right.
It's hostage and terrorist.
which one is the hostage and which one is the terrorist?
The boy's terrorist. Huh? But to answer the question about what I learned, honestly, and the most might sound weird, but I learned that mothers are a blessing to this earth. We need to appreciate mothers so much more, because remember, before pandemic, I kind of played the role of a visiting dad. You know, right. I'm there, but I'm there for like some days, and it's like, oh, we come, we do nice things, we go for ice cream, we go there, and I'm there just for the fun parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when Corona hit and you're grounded, you realize, well, it's not just the fun parts, and there are parts that sometimes, like, moms don't get to just pack up and say, take a break.
Exactly.
You know? I get to travel, and in so doing, I am allowed a certain type of break from parenting, from the day-to-day parenting. Yeah. So when I was able to just calm down and see it, it made me, one, appreciate the time you have with your kids in a different type of way. It really and truly made me appreciate the type of effort that mothers put in to the kids, for making breakfast and cleaning up after their kids. Sometimes you try to let them clean up the room, but boy, you know, you're gonna have to go in there and pick up our socks again, do this, and they do this every day. Prepare lunch and the snacks and the clothes to wash, and like, this is every day.
Yeah.
You know, and I never stop to think about, this is your routine apart from your work routine.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that's what the pandemic taught me most about parenting.
Yeah. I even my brother and my nephew, we know that when he here at 9 o'clock at night, my brother tired, right? Wherever it is going, he can do whatever for the day. No. Once my nephew is here, you know, at 9 o'clock, them lights out, because he had to run up and down and make sure that he's so taken care of, because he'll be there with him for 7 days for the week. And it's like, as a laser focus, as a parent, that you have at that point in time that is totally different from anything else that you're doing. I think, as you rightfully said, having that time now to actually sit down and see and be immersed into that more now, you get a greater appreciation for the challenges that probably your mother and everybody went through, and only women in their life who are parents will go through, you know?
For sure. I mean, it's a privilege to be a father. This is a really big responsibility to be a father. Yeah. And I give thanks just for being blessed with two wonderful kids and two very loving and caring baby mothers, you know. Yeah. So, you know, they mightn't see it, but give thanks.
You give thanks. Final question before we lock it off for the evening. Obviously, 2020, big pandemic. 2021, we now getting ready to come out of the pandemic. Everybody's saying 2021 we go and be outside. I was extremely traumatized, like everybody else, from seeing what happened in St Vincent with the volcano, and the eruption of the volcano. Was that in itself as well a traumatic experience for you personally? And what would you like to see now in 2022 that we've been hearing St Vincent saying we haven't a Vinci Mass? What would you like to see? What do you think people could expect out of a Vinci Mass this year? Do you think we can expect to get Vinci Mass on the level that we know it to be, or do you think it might be scaled back dependent? You know, what is your outlook for that?
So there is I am a cultural ambassador for St Vincent, right?
Right.
And I don't mean that just in a symbolic way. I mean that like literally. I am a cultural ambassador, like with a diplomatic passport and everything, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna say this. Vincents is going to be a scaled down, vaccinated festival.
Thank you.
Right? It's going to be 2 weeks of well coordinated, well put together, logistically coordinated events that go through a very methodical system for entry and for being safely in our party. That is what is going to happen for Vincents.
Right.
That is me, Cultural Ambassador, Mr. Gamal Doyle.
Right. Right.
I just want to take off that hat for one moment.
Right.
The same energy I told you about prior to all in this conversation about the type of energy that we have, while we may strive to have this very clinical, very sterile carnival, the energy and the pulse of the people, I am afraid, will not allow for that type of sterile and well-behaved type of situation. So I know that there is going to be a ground and an organic energy that will rise in pockets across the country that at some point will either be severely policed or just throw your hand in the air and just know that the will of the people is the will of the people.
Understood.
But that's not to say I am encouraging these types of things, but I just know my people. It's like in Grenada, like look at how that when people need to be about and feel that energy, they will be about and feel that energy. So I know that for the most part, it is going to be what it is branded to be, vaccinated safe zones and so forth. But if you're looking to come to St. Vincent, can you almost guarantee you're still going to get to feel almost the type of energy in pockets across the country as you would have normally experienced in years before.
And 1 year now away from what happened with the volcano, because again, when you look at the news and you might not know St. Vincent, you might think, well, the volcano happened and everything, is flattened on the island. But if it is that you know the island well enough, you'll understand the impacts of it. 1 year away from that, do you see what happened with the volcano last year impacting anything where Vincents is concerned for 2022?
No, I don't think it's a case. No, Corona is what did that. But I also call that time period around the volcano eruption the pandemic apocalypse.
The pandemic apocalypse.
Because we were experiencing an already bad situation with the corona, and then that eruption thing forced people to be in tight spaces in a time that they didn't have to prepare. You can't really sterilize that type of environment under those types of emergency situations, So I know those couple of months, they were very rough on people who had to just kind of relocate and just kind of reprogram their minds to sharing a school toilet with 50 people because they cannot go back to their house. Or when they go back to the house, the roof collapsed because the weight of the ash was so heavy and that type of thing. So I know while we may not be seeing the kind of side effects from that because it's not in front of our face, it's not in the news cycle, I am pretty sure that there are persons and families who are still going through the motions of losing their livestock. They come back and meet all the pigs either not there or not there, either because they were stolen, they ran away, they died. Like, it's just a whole thing where people had to kind of restart and start over their lives. So 1 year later, I'm pretty sure people are picking up the pieces, but it was more a humanitarian crisis versus a structural and environmental one per se.
Yeah, I got you. Well, bro, as I said, first of all, thank you for giving me time this evening. I know you have to rush to the airport. That is one. Two, thank you as well for keeping the commitment this evening. We were looking to delay, but it's like, we will get it done, and we got it done. Thank you for Travi for allowing us to have commercial free time for the last 49 minutes. So we got 49 minutes straight, no ads. As I always say, like I respect your work ethic. I respect again a hell out of all the artists from St. Vincent that have been doing what they've been doing for the last couple of years. As you know, I'm a huge proponent of what has happened from St Vincent and the Grenadines, and I'm really thankful that guys like you continue to do what to do. And I'm really hoping that 2022 has the successes, and as I tell people, let 2022 be the year that everything that you may have lost in the last 2 years, you claim it back with interest, So I look forward to seeing you in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And thank you so much for making the time to come on the program tonight. All right?
All right, man. You don't know.
All right, brother. All right, so we're going to take a quick travel break and then come back to close off the show. All right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, special thanks once again going out to Skinny Fabulous for joining us inside the Creative Collective podcast tonight. Hopefully, Skinny is going to get his flight on time. I don't want to feel like I'm keeping back the artist from reaching here to Trinidad. So if anybody in Trinidad and Tobago don't see Skinny tomorrow, please don't blame us. We try to make it happen, all right? Usually you guys know how in-depth we like to go, but I really wanted to make sure that Skinny had the time to come down to Trinidad. So thank you very much to Skinny for being on the podcast this evening. And thank you so much to everybody who joined in tonight. I really appreciate your comments. I'm really, really sorry that we could not get to any questions tonight in the conversation, but as you guys saw, we want to make sure that Skinny can keep his commitment to coming to TNT. Just want to let you guys know once again that we are powered every episode by Travi, the #1 rideshare app in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to remind you that you can make your life easy on your Travi commute. Use the multi-stop feature to set multiple stops to different commutes. Visit the resource center at travirides.com for more information, or download the app on your iOS or Android device today. So thank you very much for Travi for, of course, giving us the opportunity today. I also want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that again, as somebody who has been a real big supporter of everything that comes out of Vinci, I'm looking forward in the next couple of months to reaching out to a lot more of the artists and creators from St. Vincent to get them on the podcast. And not just St. Vincent, but we have some other islands as well where we want to reach out to acts and performers from there. This show is one that encourages to promote what is going on across the Caribbean diaspora. I'm really, really thankful that we've been able to do that with the conversations that we've had from people in Trinidad and Tobago, but all across the world. Also, I want to say thank you to GMGT in New York City for broadcasting with us tonight. For everybody that was on the GMGT Twitch page and we couldn't get to any of your comments, unfortunately, because of how our system is set up, we don't really see the comments on our end, but we guarantee that next time when we do take questions in the podcast, we'll be able to filter your questions through our end. All right. So once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight to the podcast. Just to let you know, next week, Monday, is supposed to be Carnival Monday in Trinidad and Tobago. So we will be doing a TKKP rewind next week, where we'll be discussing Carnival and the future of Carnival with 3 band members. So you can look out for that next week, Monday. That's a TKKP rewind. And of course, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel right now, just go and subscribe to the Creative Collective podcast on YouTube. Make sure and subscribe right now. Subscribe to us, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and of course, follow us on Twitch at the Creative Collective Podcast. Do not forget that we have a TikTok page. That's TKK Podcast. Make sure and follow us on TikTok as well, TKK Podcast. All right. I want to shout out everybody from St. Vincent that tuned in tonight. I'll shout out everybody again that was able to tune in from wherever you are in the world. I also want to shout out some of the people that I saw in the comments tonight. Shout out to Naomi. Shout out to Miss Chrissy. Shout out to DJ Busby in Toronto. And of course, Tiny from Vinci. And everybody else that joined us tonight. I really appreciate you guys tuning in this week. All right. So we will be back next week, Monday, with a rewind episode. So make sure and look out for that. We'll also have a very special episode next week, Wednesday, which on the calendar is considered Ash Wednesday. So you have a very special episode that will be on our podcast stations next week, Wednesday. I invite you guys to look out for that. And of course, we'll be live every Monday at 8 p.m. right here on the Creative Collective podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. This has been another episode. Thank you to Skinny Fabulous. Please get on your flight. See you in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, See you guys soon right here on the podcast. God bless.
I've been using Travi from day one, and let me tell you, I have not had the need for any other rideshare service. The app is very simple and easy to use. I like that I can schedule my ride days in advance and not have to wait on the day for a driver to accept my ride. Travi has made my life so much easier. I definitely recommend Travi to anyone.
Watch thing, make me jump and sing. Can't step on body balancing. Whining in and out of time, me them spread out pan down like cake when I sing. When the bubble and start back it up, make the thing explode if it don't. Oh Lord, I am tempted to touch when them legs apart and them